Dr. Kate Altizer, and I teach piano at Colby College in Waterville, Maine. I'm also a musicologist, and I've prepared this 2-part video on women in music for the DuPage Symphony Orchestra. This is part 1. You can hear Grace Williams' fantastic Concerto for Trumpet and Orchestra on the May 18th program Modern and Melodious of the DuPage Symphony Orchestra. To achieve equity in the modern music world, or to make sure everyone has equal opportunity and support to thrive in music, it's important to remember that history is still with us and affecting the present. This infographic for music theory examples by women, which unfortunately does not also account for race or other identity markers, provides an analysis of the 2018-2019 season of the Chicago Symphony Orchestra, assessing the gender breakdown of soloists, performed composers, and conductors. As you can see, women soloists fared the best, but were still outnumbered by men 25-38. Only 5% of invited conductors were women, and 1 woman composer was performed that season. In the 1970s, if you went to a symphony orchestra concert, only about 5% of the people in the whole orchestra might be women. Historical separation of women and men in orchestral music led to formations of all-women ensembles, such as the Women's Symphony Orchestra of Chicago, 10 of whom are pictured here. This orchestra was formed in 1925 with the goals of education, outreach, and being held to just as high standards as the Chicago Symphony Orchestra, which did not at that time allow women as members. One of the founders hoped that they would inspire other women to take up what she called the unusual instruments of the orchestra, primarily brass and wind instruments, such as the horn. We can again look at numbers to see that instruments do, in fact, often align with gender, even today, in the world's most famous orchestras. In 2018, Quartz gathered data from the websites of 20 top world symphonies about the gender of their players. You can see that women outnumber men only in harp, flute, and violin. But in all the other instruments, and overwhelmingly in brass, women are hardly represented. Of course, 20 is not all orchestras. Rebecca Cherianis played trombone in the Pittsburgh Symphony Orchestra for 30 years and is co-principal. Amanda Stewart is associate principal of trombone in the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra. But still, even an updated version of the number of women trombone players in professional symphony orchestras has been estimated at around 3%. Not a great balance. There are different instrument stereotypes all over the world. Why? Well, there's many reasons, but just to suggest a couple in the Western world. First, there's the idea that the nature of the instrument may not match the so-called nature of the woman. For example, horns equaling hunting, such as in this 18th century painting, or percussion and trumpets equaling the military. Second, there's an issue of how instruments might affect women's appearances, for example, not wanting to affect the beauty of the face, such as puffing the cheeks to play a trumpet. So some instruments, such as the keyboard or the harp, became seen as more appropriate, not affecting the face, and associated with women's domestic spaces, as indicated by this 1871 painting, The Piano Lesson. Tune in to the second part of this video series to hear my optimism about and celebration of women in music. And be sure to check out the performance of Grace Williams' Concerto for Trumpet and Orchestra, which you can hear on the May concert of the DuPage Symphony Orchestra, Modern and Melodious.